What does Modi in Lumbini means? Shanker Man Singh, Prime Minister of India Narendra Modi is scheduled to pay a visit to Nepal at the formal invitation of Prime Minister Sher Bahadur Deuba. The Prime Minister of India Modi is coming to Nepal on May 20. During the visit of the Prime Minister of India Narendra Modi to Nepal on May 20 at the invitation of Prime Minister Sher Bahadur Deuba, bilateral discussions will be held on multidimensional issues. It was informed at a press conference organized by the Indian Ministry of External Affairs recently that in-depth discussions will be held between the Prime Ministers of the two countries on development and construction, trade, commerce, and tourism. Although the visit will be for one day, the two Prime Ministers will discuss multifaceted issues of the two countries, the ministry said. At a press conference, Indian Foreign Secretary Vinay Mohan Quatra said that the high-level visit of the Prime Ministers of the two countries was a sign of close ties. According to him, there is a sustainable and big trade area of hydropower energy trade between Nepal and India. Whether India has invested in Nepal or other countries have invested in it, it has flourished in a wide area. For this reason, India has been taking initiatives in the past to increase its investment in power generation in Nepal. According to him, discussions will also be held between the top leadership of the two countries on connectivity, road network, railways, tourism expansion, and transportation. He did not specify whether the border dispute would be discussed. He said that the issues were being discussed during the talks. In order to strengthen the religious diplomatic relations between Nepal and India, an initiative has been taken to increase tourism activities in the two countries through Nepal-India Buddha Circuit and Ramayana Circuit. Diplomatic relations between Nepal and India have been established since 1947, when India became independent from the British colony. The South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation, SAARC, is committed to promoting political, socio-cultural, economic, and people-to-people contacts as well as regional relations between the two countries. According to the ministry, the relations between the two countries are far above the treaties and agreements reached at different times. As such, Holy Land is no one's property. Anyone can worship it, and the more people worship it, the more humanistic it becomes. The story of the birth of Lord Buddha in Lumbini Garden is extraordinary and beautiful. His teachings are equally remarkable and memorable. His teachings and the search for truth and the meaning of life and death have made him a source of great spiritual inspiration and power. According to the teachings of the Buddha, he taught himself to avoid the sin of killing any living being, because he wanted to know the blessing of longevity of all people. What a revolutionary message this is in a world where money rules over greatness and where something is considered better. According to UNESCO, Indian Prime Minister Modi plans to visit Lumbini, the birthplace of the Buddha, which is inscribed on the World Heritage List, on the occasion of Buddha Purnima, Buddha's birthday. This is his first high-level visit to Nepal since being re-elected Prime Minister of India in 2019. On the occasion, both the Prime Minister of Nepal Deuba and his counterpart Modi will attend the ceremony in Lumbini. Both the Prime Ministers are scheduled to light lamps at the Mayadevi Temple in Lumbini. However, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Prime Minister's office have yet to make a formal announcement in this regard. The Prime Minister of India Modi will arrive in Nepal via Kushinagar International Airport. However, he is not using the Barahawa International Airport. As such, the airport has not yet been officially inaugurated as well. There is a media reporting in Indian media that since the airport is being built by Chinese company and is just about 6 kilometers away from India, the Indian side declined to use the airport. But this seems not true, as the international airport has just passed the test flight few weeks back and the official opening is scheduled on 2 July with Al Zaira Air. The Prime Minister of India Modi has started his international tour as soon as the latest version of the COVID-19 pandemic, the Omicron version, has softened. During his previous tenure, he had visited Nepal 4 times. Accordingly, he came to Nepal twice in 2014 and twice in 2018. He had expressed his desire to visit Lumbini during his visit to Nepal in 2014. The effect of COVID and the war in Russia and Ukraine has caused high prices for some commodities including petroleum products, which has had a major impact on the Nepalese economy, which has shocked policymakers who have been silent in the past. The state of the country's economy is not good, there is pressure on foreign reserves. However, the state of our economy is not as bad as in Sri Lanka, but if it is not serious now, it cannot be ruled out. Nepal may have to sought the assistance of IMF and India to secure financing in case of need amidst negative economic indicators. Whether Nepal has felt the need to secure economic integration programs with both bridge financing and the IMF may be a matter of debate. It is India's duty to express its concern over the immediate human cost of Nepal's economic problems. India must stand with Nepal to overcome its challenges. Neighbor India can help solve Nepal's immediate problems by providing some assistance to Nepal in the form of loans for essential commodities and fuels and support balance of payments. India can be seen as an opportunity to provide currency swaps under the SAARC facility, to facilitate supply arrangements under the line of credit if needed, and to recoup India's current economic situation in Nepal. Just to recapitulate, the Prime Minister of Nepal Sher Bahadur Deuba visited India from 1 to April 3, 2022. As Nepal and India have friendly relations, this visit has emphasized the special relationship between the two countries. During his visit he reviewed the state of bilateral relations, which is now considered excellent. The two heads of government also discussed other regional issues. A joint press release with 13 points was issued during the visit which highlighted the main issues discussed during the visit. Everyone knows that Nepal and India have been close friends since time immemorial. Nepal and India, despite their huge differences in size and population, economy, and technology, are united by their culture, traditions, and philosophy. From a changed perspective, Nepal-India relations should be viewed from the perspective of how to promote traditional relations, how to strengthen bilateral economic relations, and how to develop trade on an equal footing. India has always been our major trading partner. Therefore, for any trade policy to be successful, the Indian market and the mutual interest of both the countries must be taken into consideration. Nepal's politics with India or India's economic diplomacy with Nepal should be seen where both countries win and neither country loses. The two prime ministers had discussed over the border dispute. The press release also said that the Prime Minister of Nepal had requested the Prime Minister of India to resolve the border issue through an established bilateral mechanism, but the statement of the Indian side was not mentioned. During the Indian Prime Minister's visit to Nepal, Nepal should be able to provide information on the current economic situation and seek cooperation and collaboration with its southern neighbor. In this regard, a committee has to be formed at the private sector level of both the countries for the mechanism of identification, solution, and solution of the problem. As both countries take ownership, immediate, medium, and long-term solutions to the problem can be implemented. India can also help Nepal to extend the credit period for payment of petrol products. In terms of pricing, cost price can also be considered when pricing the byproducts that India gets from processing such as tar. Also, soft loan from India can be used if required. Since Nepal's currency is linked to India and some private sectors are talking about currency mobilization, it should also be considered in the national interest and public sentiment. From a changed perspective, Nepal-India relations should be viewed from the perspective of how to promote traditional relations, how to strengthen bilateral economic relations, and how to develop trade on an equal footing. India has always been our major trading partner. Therefore, for any trade policy to be successful, the Indian market and the mutual interest of both the countries must be taken into consideration. Nepal's politics with India or India's economic diplomacy with Nepal should be seen where both countries win and neither country loses. Overall, as a neighboring country to Nepal's current economic situation, India can play a role of assistance and support for the immediate relief of Nepal. It would be no exaggeration for Nepal to expect some relief and assistance during the forthcoming visit of the Indian Prime Minister.